What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 12 must know stats you need to know. Wait a minute, I think I screwed that up. The 12 must know stats you need to know for week 13.
Getting it.
It's your favorite duo, Keith and Casey.
Howdy.
Sorry for last week. That was on me. I appreciate Casey, though, with the wellness check. It's nice to know you're loved.
Aw.
But we will be getting together for the rest of the season, just like we have for the previous 11, to discuss stats that came out from last week that we think you need to know. And we're going to start this week with a guy that we've talked about a lot this year, and that is Matthew Stafford. Go Dogs. You may remember, I believe the last time we got together, we spoke about how Stafford had just become the oldest quarterback in NFL history to just surpass 500 for his career winning percentage. And you look now, he's the prohibitive MVP favorite. And that is significant because of his age. He is 37 years old. There has only been 5 quarterbacks, 37 years of age or older, who have won the MVP. No surprise, Tom Brady did it at 40 and is also the oldest person to have accomplished it. You have Peyton Manning, Rich Gannon, and Y.A. Tittle, who all did it at 37. Same for Aaron Rodgers, but Rodgers is the only one that can say he did it twice, as he did it at 37 and 38. Stafford's latest performance of 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, solidified his spot as the betting favorite for MVP. He entered the game for the first time in his career, the MVP betting favorite. He has now thrown 27 touchdowns since his last interception. That is the longest streak since they started tracking play-by-play data in 1978. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Don't you just feel that, like, man, if Stafford would have not been drafted by Detroit, what could have been?
What could have been? Man, but you love to see it. You love to see.
Mhm.
You love to see it. What you don't love
I
to
tell you what,
see.
I was going to say, let's transition there.
Let's just do a lovely transition here to the Vikings, who have a problem. Vikings, we have a problem here. They went 14-3 last year with Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones on their roster. Those are the same 2 quarterbacks who are 8-3 this season with new
Yikes.
teams. Yep. Because the Vikings decided to go all in on their second-year player and first-year starter, J.J. McCarthy. With Carson Wentz's injury, the Vikings only have one path the rest of the season. And as painful as it sounds, the Vikings have to continue playing McCarthy to accumulate that data for the offseason decision-making that they're going to have to make. Okay? Maybe they'll learn that he's the guy. This is his first season after all. But they have to find out, right? This is a good team. We know that.
Mhm.
They've won 13 or more games twice in the last 3 seasons with 2 different quarterbacks. They can get it done.
Yep.
At 4-7, their postseason chances are slim to none. The most concerning part is McCarthy appears to be regressing.
He's been bad.
We've talked about that. His past 2 starts have been terrible. He's never looked comfortable in the pocket, despite Coach O'Connell calling as conservative of a game as possible. The Packers pass rush just gave JJ a lot of trouble. He managed just 87 passing yards. He threw 2 interceptions. Ugh, that's not what you want to see from the guy you decided to go all in on.
I mean, I'm a Falcons fan, so it's the Falcons and the Vikings of the right now, 5 or 6 teams who took quarterbacks in the first round just last year. That, ours, I felt good about Penix, but the injury is obviously very concerning with his previous injuries. McCarthy's play. Meanwhile, Daniels is banged up, but Caleb Williams looks really good. Drake May is having an MVP type season. Bo Nix seems to be, when it's the fourth quarter, turning into John Elway. So no surprise, the Vikings and the Falcons, who have a history of bad stuff happening, are the 2 that the quarterback situation ain't great. We're cursed. It's all good. Let's talk a little bit about JSN, who, good God, man, he is now again on pace to surpass Megatron. For you young folks, that is Calvin Johnson. For for the single season receiving record. Johnson had 1,964 yards. The reason JSN is back on track is the monster 167-yard, 2-touchdown performance he had Sunday. The former Buckeye broke the Seahawks all-time receiving record in just 11 games. It previously was held by DK Metcalf, and he is now on pace, people, for 2,000 freaking receiving yards. But I think this is even more impressive. He now ranks third all-time in receiving yards per pass attempt. Now, again, we're not talking about receiving yards per target. We're talking about receiving yards per pass attempt by a quarterback. So think about that. That means if Darnold throws it 20 times and he has 100 yards, right? Are you getting where I'm going with this? That would be 5 yards per pass attempt. There are 6 guys in the history of the NFL to have 3.87 yards per pass attempt. JSN is now all the way up to third. What is so insane, the rest of these guys were all playing in what might as well have been the Stone Age. Jim Benton, 1945 is first. Harlan Hill, 1956 is second. Elroy Hirsch, 1945 is fourth. Lance Allworth, at least is a name I know, in 1965 is fifth. And Mac Speedy, what a name, in 1947 is sixth. But the point is, they did not throw it a lot back in those days. They basically didn't throw it at all. So no surprise those guys would have such a high total. This is the modern NFL. You can see there is nobody on this list from, Jesus, within 5 decades of where we are at now. That is the kind of season JSN is having. I love to see it.
And the rest of those receivers, how do you feel about the rest of those receivers going forward? They're not really.
I think they're probably dead. A lot of them, which is unfortunate. I hope they weren't smokers and stuff, you know.
You're
talking about the rest of the Seahawks.
I'm talking about the rest of the Seahawks receivers even more.
I thought that Shaheed was going to be a piece, but it appears like they're like, nah, we're good just throwing it at JSN. And why not?
And it's working, you're right, if it's working, but it's sad for fantasy managers who have those guys rostered.
Yes, it is.
All right, here's something that's not sad if you have him rostered. It's Kyle Monangai. It appears if you roster him, you've got that lead back for the Bears backfield. He's got a 60% carry share. That's the highest in a game this season. That's what he saw. And when DeAndre Swift plays, I cannot read. That's how excited I am about.
That's how big it is, though. Is that like you can't even get the words out?
Can't even get the words out because
we've been clamoring for this, and finally in a game they both played 60% of the carries.
And as a Swift manager, that didn't make me happy, but it happens. In the 3 games since Swift returned from injury, Monangai has outcarried him 5-2 inside the 10.
That's big.
The only concern for Monangai managers right now really is the schedule for the rest of the season. The Bears schedule, they've got 4 of the remaining opponents that rank in the upper half of defensive rankings versus the rush. So that's a concern to have. Kind of file that away.
And again, 60%, you're excited if you're a Monangai owner, but really that means that both Monangai and Swift week to week are not somebody that's going to be getting a lot of weighted opportunities, a lot of heavy volume. And so, again, it shifted the scales, if you will. If you're a Monangai, now you're more excited, but I still don't think everything is glitter and gold, as they say, or as I just said. This guy, I'm so mad at him because I should have known to play Michael Wilson in all my DraftKings lineups last week. Did I? No. Despite him only being $4,900 and him coming off a game where he saw 18 targets and caught 15 freaking passes. He followed that up with another 15 targets, and catching 10 passes. His 33 targets over the last 2 weeks. Only Jamar Chase this season has seen a higher total over 2 games. I would like to add for the Chase people out there, he saw 45 in those 2 games. It's just insane. But Wilson, again, he's caught 10 passes 2 weeks in a row. and bring his stat line for just the last 2 weeks to 25 receptions, 303 yards, 55.3 fantasy points. Good Lord. That's a lot of fantasy points.
Wow.
Now it's unclear when Marvin Harrison Jr. will return, if he returns this season. It's not like the Cardinals are going anywhere, but I would say it's safe to say at this point, either way, Michael Wilson has arrived as a big part of this Cardinals passing offense. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he looks good. I still believe Harrison Jr. can be, at worst, a really good number 2 receiver, if not a number 1. You have, outside of maybe Brock Bowers and maybe a handful of guys, the best tight end in football, and Trey McBride. They need to go get a quarterback this offseason because Kyler Murray is not the answer.
Right on. Yeah, for sure. And Michael Wilson, I apologize for anything that I may have said that motivated you to have such a good game. He's had such a good stretch because I've been such a dog. But here's somebody that I haven't been dogging on, actually. So I'm really happy to see my guy show up in this list. We've got wide receiver Wan'dale Robinson, who went nuclear.
No more.
Nuclear on Sunday, right? 156 yards, which was a career high. He also had a touchdown on 9 catches, saw 13 targets. He's had 100 yards in the first quarter alone. He had 100 yards in the first quarter.
I blinked and I was like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. He became the first Giants player since Hakeem Nicks back in 2011 to accomplish
that brings back some memories.
Right?
Hakeem Nicks.
Right? And this was his second 100-yard game of the season and happens to be a contract year.
Hello.
Hey. Robinson needs to send a thank you card to Jameis Winston.
Yes, he does.
Winston, his second start for the Giants, he threw for 366 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Oh, and he scored a touchdown as a receiver on his way to being the quarterback 1 in fantasy for the week. Wow. Love it.
I do too. Winston was actually my most played quarterback in cash games this last week, which helped a lot. But I just I root for Jameis. I really do. I know he's done some dumb stuff. He said some dumb stuff in his past, but he just seems genuine. And to me, we're all human beings, right? We're going to make mistakes and stuff, but I love people who are themselves, no matter what the situation. He doesn't care.
We learn from our
people
mistakes.
say or write about it. He's just going to be Jameis, and players seem to love him. So let's talk about the scariest dude in the NFL right now, and that is Myles Garrett for the Cleveland Browns. No surprise with Garrett being so good, the Browns have seen the second fewest pass attempts in the NFL. And this is despite them being an elite run defense. So teams are just like, look, we would rather run, knowing we're probably going to gain like 3 to 4 yards per carry, than drop back and let this guy, basically come get us, because he has sacked opponents at 5.2% of their dropbacks this season. That would break the single season record held by our man Reggie White, who had at 4%. So it's almost surely going to be broken unless he just goes on a real cold streak to end the season. Over his last 4 games, this is insane. 16 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 13 sacks. His 18 sacks now on the year is a new career high for him, and places him just 5 away from the NFL record, which with this current pace could happen in like 2 games. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he breaks the record. Going to be very interesting to see if he destroys the record. I know that PFF has took a lot of criticism, let's just put it that way, from the fantasy and football community over how they continuously rank Myles Garrett as the best pass rusher in football, because they're like, well, so-and-so has more sacks and so more pressures. And they have always argued we're including technique, coverage, all kinds of stuff. And they look pretty smart right now.
Yeah. Well, someone else who may be making you look smart is Rashee Rice. Do you know that man? Have you heard of him? Maybe.
I love Rashee Rice.
Yes, let's go.
My hearts.
He was coming off his worst game of the season, a game where he still saw 9 targets and caught 6 passes. Rice was once again a top 12 wide receiver, finishing the week as wide receiver 6.
Hello.
Rice is getting peppered with targets. His 47 targets ranks 78th among wide receivers, despite only playing 5 games. More importantly, the Kansas City Chiefs have targeted Rice 8 times inside the 10-yard line.
Oof.
That ranks 5th among all wide receivers and tight ends, despite, again, Rice playing just 5 games. So
that is very good news if
that's
you're a
great
Rashee
news.
Rice owner.
Right.
Now, they have
We like
not
to see
connected
that.
on a bunch. I believe he's only scored 3 touchdowns on those 8 targets, but I think that will continue to increase. Obviously, he probably wasn't practicing, for long practice. Or actually, I know he wasn't because he was suspended. He is somebody I'm very excited to see what happens the rest of the season. And if Kareem Hunt can run like he did on Sunday, I mean, if the Chiefs can just get a run game, I think you're going to see the pass improve tremendously. This is something you can actually use for this Thursday. So if you're building DFS lineups for the Thanksgiving slate, and if you're not, come on, what are you doing? Or streaming tight ends, or if you're in a place where you can't do DFS, but you can gamble, here's some player prop lines, just saying. You should strongly consider Mike Geisicki of the Cincinnati Bengals, who we know returned from injury last week. He saw 6 targets in his first game. That was the same amount as T. Higgins. Remember, there was no Jamar Chase, and only 1 less than our boy Yoshi, who saw 7. Chase returns this week, but Higgins is now out due to a concussion, and that is very good news for Mike Geisicki if we follow recent trends, including obviously last week. There's been 6 games that Higgins or Chase has missed since the start of the 2024 season that Mike Geisicki plays in. In those games, he's averaging 7 targets, almost 60 yards receiving per game, and averaging 12.6 fantasy points per. I think Geisicki is a very sneaky play this week and someone you should consider if you need a tight end streamer, or again, if you're building DFS lineups for the Thanksgiving slate or looking for player props to put in. His overage on yardage is one of my favorites.
I'm going to keep that in mind. I do need to stream some tight ends, so that's excellent news on this front.
Hello.
Hey, okay, let's talk about Christian Watson, shall we? He commanded a 31.8% target share over the weekend. That's pretty big.
Significant.
The second highest of his career, actually. He saw at least 4 targets and gained at least 45 receiving yards for the 5th straight game. That's AKA, every game that he's played this season. He's averaging a team high 56.6 receiving yards per game since returning in week 8, while his 12.3 fantasy points per game and 19% target share since Tucker Kraft's injury lead all Packers receivers. That's the Pack. I'm always like, which Packer receiver? That's the Packer receiver.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. They need somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think it was a coincidence that they first started really humming when they just basically said, look, our pass game is going to be built around Tucker Kraft, and then we're going to run the ball. And then we'll spread it out amongst other people.
100%.
They have appeared to be trying to find who is going to replace Tucker Kraft. If you remember, Watson was a high draft pick.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it makes sense that he could be this guy. I think if he stays healthy, he's got a great chance to be like upside of a top 15 receiver rest of the season. Got to stay healthy, though, because Jordan Love has actually been really good. If you look at a lot of the metrics and stuff, Love has been a lot better than his numbers show. This guy is that we're about to talk about, one of my favorites. Every year, as the sun starts to set a little earlier, temperatures start to drop. We got, leaves falling on the ground, and we get ready to reach the end of the calendar year. We've reached that time again. It's Derrick Henry season, ladies and gentlemen. No surprise with him being a giant of a man, tends to get better as the year goes on. And since 2022, Henry has 9 top 9 finishes at running back just from week 13 through the end of the season. And again, he's been ramping up as of late. He saw 6 carries inside the 5-yard line today. That's the most by a running back in any regular season game in fantasy points data history. He punched 2 of them in for touchdowns and put together his second straight 20-point performance. He only had 1 all the way back in week 1 before the last 2 weeks. I think this also says a lot about that the Ravens know they cannot have Lamar get hurt anymore. So he is not going to be doing much running around the goal line, which is obviously lowering his ceiling, but it will be raising, Henry's floor in the process. Henry has been RB9 in points per game and RB8 in weighted opportunities just since Lamar returned from injury. And boy, oh boy, does he have a gift coming this Thursday facing the Bengals defense that currently allows 156 yards per game at 5.1 yards per carry. And then he's going to see them again in 2 weeks. So Derrick Henry, like I said, I think is ramping up. I'm about to have a couple of really good weeks.
That makes me happy in Queen's Classic. All right. Thank you. Ashton Jeanty.
Wait a minute. You have Henry and Taylor in that league?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
and
good
Pickens.
Luck, everybody.
Okay.
Good luck, everyone. Hello.
Ashton Jeanty has now seen at least an 18% target share in each of his past 3 games. And the only other 2 running backs in the league who can currently say that, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane.
Say that one more time so people understand. That's a big deal.
Yes.
18% target share? Who is it? The only 2 other backs?
18%, at least an 18% target share in each of his past 3 games. The only other 2 that have done that, Christian McCaffrey and Devin.
2 of the best backs in fantasy. Just saying. Jeanty season is among us.
I think so.
Upon us.
You love to see it. You love to see it. Among here right now. It's here. We got it.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's tough with the Raiders. They're not very good at running the ball, obviously. But if he's now being involved in the passing game, that will raise him. He's quietly put together 3 top 5, right? Like finishes at the RB position, 6 top 15 finishes.
Yep.
These are all in the last 8 games. So I think that, a lot of people have been really disappointed. I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard to run when Geno Smith's your quarterback. That's all I'm going to say.
Amen.
So any big turkey plans before we get out of here?
How
do you have your turkey? Let's put it that way. What do y'all do?
Well, I don't do anything.
Well, I'm saying what does your family do?
So my wife, my sister, they're going to cook the turkey and do all that stuff.
Okay. Bake it? Or how do they do it?
Yes.
Okay.
I told you I don't do anything. Yes,
we deep fry ours. Again,
so
I'm not going to do anything.
I don't
My
think
dad will deep fry turkey. When we go up north to Brittany's family in Massachusetts, they're going to bake it, which it's not. Once you have like deep fried and smoked turkey,
I've never had deep fried.
It's hard to go back. It really is. Like no matter how good a baked turkey is, it's just going to be so much drier than when it's smoked or deep fried. It's just, again, it's not knocking it because I've had really good baked turkey, but it's just like, it's hard to go back. It really is. So I really do appreciate my dad. We're going to have a early Thanksgiving with my side of the family. Actually tonight, I'm going to eat a bunch of deep fried turkey. I'm going to go buy the original Chick-fil-A, pick up one of their chocolate pies, which are, oh my God. Now they're $45. They're outrageous. Well, I don't know if they serve it anywhere other than the original Chick-fil-A Dwarf House, which is in Hateville, which is just, I don't know, like 10 minutes from my office. But they do. You have to call, special order it, but it is worth it. It is so freaking good.
People like their pies.
Oh, I love chocolate pie, especially like there's so much I don't know if it's whipped cream, but the cream topping to that, like it layers like that. So, but we appreciate you guys for all your support. Again, I apologize for last week. That was on. I was not feeling well, but we will be with you through the rest of the season. I think we may even do playoffs. Why not playoffs? But we both want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day. Let's all, enjoy the 3 football games. Like without these 3 good games, that is going to keep a lot of us from having to deal with family and friends that we don't want to, that are in the same house.
My favorite part of it.
I mean, that because when it's bad games, it's like, oh God, somebody's going to mention religion or politics or something, and it's like,
not in this house. Get out.
Let's just concentrate on the football.
It's just football. Yes.
Again, one of the things I'm very thankful for this year is you, Casey, and doing the
Thankful
show.
for you as well.
You are the
Been
best.
so fun.
I hope you keep your sanity this week.
I am. Everybody out there, just think of me right now because this house is full of dogs and humans, and it's a lot.
Well, just know we love you. Hope tell your dad Happy Turkey Day
Will do.
and the missus, and we will see you guys next week.
Later.